We're here on the side of the highway with yet another rental car review. This is a 2024 Toyota Corolla LE. As we always start with the outside, it's a good looking car. I think Toyota's got their design language pretty down pat here. It's got good looking headlights, nice DRLs. I don't know, it's just solid. It's a little Econo box, it looks like an egg. What more can you ask for? It's got steelies with the hubcaps, you know, it's a cheap car. Hell, it's got drum brakes in the rear. No, it doesn't, those are discs. I don't know anything about this car, but I've been driving it for just over a week now. So let's get in and give the thoughts. I got all the trash on the ground. I've been in this car for like a week now. Quick start off with the driver's seat here and the rest of the interior. The seats are pretty nice. They have good bolsters, you know, good hip and like waist bolsters, I guess. Roomy, plenty good. Good room in the foot pedal box area as well. The back seats are pretty good. You know, nothing fancy. It is a cheap car and it doesn't really make any excuses for that. I will say you get 2 USB charging ports in the back here. Another one in here, plus the standard 12-volt jack. And then yet another USB port up here, all Type-C, which is very nice. Pretty standard interior, I think, as far as cars go nowadays. You got the phablet and the, not phablet, but the like tablet thing in the middle. You do have full controls over the AC with buttons, which is awesome. And I'm going to turn that on because it is like 100 degrees today, which is awful. That chime won't go away until I buckle my seatbelt. So do that. Perfect. Yeah, it is 97 outside right now and about 97% humidity, it feels like. So just real quick, I think some of my sort of likes and dislikes here. This dashboard is maybe a slight bit too busy. If I set cruise control on, for example, while I'm moving, maybe I don't have to be moving, but if I put cruise control on, there's just like another symbol that pops up in the top right corner there where it says 19 miles per hour. And it's just like, I don't know, it's just a lot of information on the screen. It's a little bit overwhelming. You can kind of dumb that down by switching to one of the other, you know, screens here, like your compass is a little bit less busy, and those rear seat warnings go away as well. But if you switch off the like speedometer screen, you're then sort of left with the speedo, like the analog speedo here. And I think that there needs to be more divisions on that speedometer. It does, you know, 0, 20, 40 with divisions for, you know, at every 10. But, you know, if I want to check and see if I'm actually doing 55 visually on the analog speedo, I kind of have to eyeball halfway between 60 and the dash below it. And so I kind of wish that there was, you know, I mean, this car is not going to do 160 miles an hour. Like, end the speedo at like 120 or 130, right? And give us more declination in there. I think that would be better. I've got good dash or good steering wheel control buttons. You know, it's all kind of fairly standard. There's nothing on the back, so you have a smooth back, which I like to hold at the sort of 9 and 3 or position. I don't know if you're supposed to hold in the position, but that's what I do, so whatever. I do wish all the media buttons were in the same place. I've got the volume buttons over here, and then this is like the toggle for, you know, radio, Bluetooth, Sirius XM, whatever, and then forward and backward seeking here. And when I'm on the highway cruising, I usually just drive with one hand on the wheel. And, you know, to get to these controls, I'm either pressing a button on the screen that I can't feel or see, which I'm still not a fan of, or I'm sort of reaching over weird on the steering wheel. So that just is sort of what it is. But they're fine buttons. They're not the best quality feeling. They don't have like a nice solid like click or detent to them. They're a little bit mushy, but they get the job done. And like, again, this is a cheap car, relatively speaking, and it does a good job still giving you tech package and control at the price point, I think. With that tech package, and what we'll see while we actually do, for the first time, a driving review, is we do have a radar cruise control. I don't know if it's standard for the LE or not, but this car has it. But it's got cruise control, radar cruise control, and lane keep assist, and those work really well. You almost don't have to touch the steering wheel while you drive, which is pretty cool. You should definitely still have your hands on the steering wheel when you drive, but it does definitely reduce like fatigue on long drives. In the realm of sort of tech package, we've also got automatic headlights, which is fairly standard, but we've got the automatic headlights, and we also have automatic high beams. I wasn't sure what I would think, what I thought about those at first. I didn't really trust them. I don't want to blind people at night because I can barely see at night anyway, especially when somebody's coming at me with high beams on. But they actually work really well. They seem to figure out when you're sort of in a more populated area, coming up to like a traffic light or something like that. Even if there's no cars, it would dim the high beams at a traffic light, just in case somebody was crossing or something, which was pretty cool. So I thought it did a good job there. Yeah, I think there's not too much to talk about in the interior, really. I mean, you have your standard Prindle with the bussy mode, nothing crazy. I do wish some of the cup holders were a little bit bigger. You can see we've got sort of, I don't know, local cafe medium drink in these cup holders, and they fit well. But if you have a larger water bottle, like one of the bigger hydro flasks or something like that, they're just not going to fit in these cup holders or in the seat or the door pocket cup holders or anything like that. So it is a bit of a shame that there isn't a larger cup holder, but I don't know. I think there's room for it up here, but maybe not. So, all right, I'm going to hand the phone off to my trusty companion, and we'll do the driving portion for the first time. Anyway, we got to head to the airport, so we're going to get on the highway, which will be a great time to showcase the sort of the slop in the CVT. Oh boy, it just hit cruise. It just tried to get the cruise control up to 19 miles an hour. I forgot I had that on. That was surprising. Anyway, cancel that real quick. I did not cancel. I actually don't know how this car works. The throttle response is generally good for once you're moving and around the city, stop and go traffic sort of thing, but it does lack a little bit when you need to get it to go. So if I just mat it, it drops down pretty quick, but then it takes its time getting you actually sort of up to speed. And that may be partly due to the fact that this motor probably doesn't produce much power. And it is it's still a 4-door sedan. But it's a little bit sluggish. That was a roll-on from 40. It's especially noticeable, I think, when you're stopped and you need to sort of jump into traffic or something like that, which we're in Massachusetts right now. That's just the reality of driving here, is you have to jump into traffic, and it's a little harrowing. You sort of have to jump in half second before you think you kind of want to, because the transmission needs a half second to kick down and stuff, but I don't know. Anyway, radar cruise is pretty good, so let's showcase that with the lane keep assist. So I just clicked the button. It set it to 69 miles an hour, which is nice. And I can control how close I am to the car in front of me with the button over here. Super intuitive. Just gives you some information right there on the dash. I know this is nothing new. I barely have a car with working cruise control, so I always get a little bit excited for the radar cruise control stuff. And then, yeah, I don't know, it's just super nice. The lane assist works great, and it'll yell at me if I don't have my hand on the wheel long enough, and I have to give it a jiggle to remind the car that yes, I am in fact still here. But it does work, which is cool. And so, yeah, so cruise control set at 69. We're now at 64 because this RV in front of us is going a little slow. And the interesting thing is, you may have seen the top left there, the speed limit sign was red when we were speeding. And this car actually reads the road signs, I think. I was digging through the settings earlier, and I think that's what it's actually doing is reading road signs. And that's kind of cool because at a glance you can see what your speed limit is if you don't have your maps up or something with Android Auto or what have you that might tell you the speed limit. It's also a little bit annoying because, you know, with Google Maps, if you're doing like between 0 and 5 miles an hour over the speed limit, it's like orange. I find that, or I noticed that this car gets like, it like yells at you instantly the minute you go over the speed limit. It turns it red, which like it doesn't matter, but it's like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't know, like, oh, it's not that much faster, it's okay, I promise, little Toyota. But I don't know, it's no big deal. What is kind of annoying with the radar cruise or the adaptive cruise is that when you do use it on like sort of a back road, which you wouldn't usually use cruise on, but because it's reading those road signs, I've found that it actually reads like the road is curvy sign, pops it up on the dash as like a little warning sign, again in the top left, more cluttering the dash even more. But like it'll pop it up, it'll be like, hey, it's gonna be curvy, and it actually slows you down before it enters the curves. And it kind of slows you down to a degree that you don't need to slow down to take the curve safely, which is a little bit jarring and surprising as a driver if you're not expecting it, and especially for cars that might be tailgating you, because again, we are in Massachusetts, which, yeah, so that's a little bit annoying, but on the highway it works phenomenally. I'm not touching the wheel right now, we're kind of going around a bit of a curve here. It works great, and there's a positive feedback that it gives you when it does lose the lanes. It'll beep at you if it's been active and it loses a lane. It beeps so that you know to pay maybe a little bit more attention. But yeah, I don't know, like, I think the car drives nice, it sounds good in here, the audio system is good. I think this volume knob here is maybe it's mushy, it doesn't have clicks, it has lag when you like, it's off so I can't show, but like it's just not the best feeling knob here, which is unfortunate because these are great. These have a nice like solid detent and a good feel. They're knurled a little bit, and this is just a smooth knob. It's just I don't know, it's just sort of, maybe these aren't knurled, but there's a little bit of texture around the edge compared to this guy, or if there is texture here I can't really feel it, so I don't know. But these are great, these work phenomenally. Vents are good, placement is good. You can't close these center vents, which is a little weird, because you can close the sort of outer vents, and I don't really understand why you can't close all the vents on a 2024 car, but you can definitely point them at your passenger instead and make them too chilly or too hot instead of you, the driver. So, you know, there is that. Yeah, I think that's kind of it. I think overall this is a like great little you know, kind of econo-box car, and I think I would give it like a 7 or 8 out of 10 for my liking. I don't know if I would buy one, but I wouldn't buy nearly any new car. But if I did have to buy a new car, of the rental cars that I've driven, this is probably the top of my list. And I guess that's it. Peace.